Yes, the title is true. I am clearing my needles and I'm really excited to show you two finished objects today and very significant progress I've made on a WIP. I just want to point out this is progress from over 2 months, December and January, and I had a lot of breaks in there. I had Christmas break, I had New Year break, so big FOs. Yes, I'm not a fast knitter. Reason I have so many finished objects is because they're lingering WIPs from something like this guy. This is from July 2023, so don't feel bad, okay? I know when I see a lot of FOs in people's podcasts and stuff, I'm like, ooh, I should be a faster knitter. No, this is a long time coming, all right? And speaking of this guy, let's just start. Let's start here, okay? Oh. This is the Vienna Blouse. This is a pattern by Sandnes Garn. It's from their DIY pattern 2302. This is the cover piece on the front cover of that pattern booklet. The Sandnes Garn girlies have like a light blue version, or yeah, like a blue version, and then a limey yellow green version. Don't really know how to describe that color. I decided to do a red version. This is pretty much a cardigan that I would style most of the time as a top, just with the ties closed. So it's got stockinette, front, back, stockinette everything. And it has this nice little peplum flare. The pattern has a flare starting much higher, I think like around here, and going for much longer. I changed it because I just felt like having the peplum start lower would be more flattering. And also I based it off of this photo on Instagram that I will put on the screen here. Love the way that she has it proportioned out, and that's kind of what I tried to follow here. So peplum started much lower, and for the life of me, I wanted to die when I was knitting on this peplum. It really, truly killed me. I almost did an I-cord bind off on this bottom edge here because I could not fathom knitting another 5 rows to do a sewn bind off. That is how much I dreaded knitting the peplum. That's how much I hated working on this section of the garment. And I put this in timeout for like 5 weeks straight because I could not bring myself to look at this piece, to think about this piece, purely because of the peplum. So she spent a lot of time in the timeout corner, the naughty bin. I just had a basket that I chucked this into and did not look at. The sleeves do have a slight decrease. You can definitely see that. I just followed the decrease rate as outlined in the pattern. And the sleeve also has a sewn bind off. Is it obvious on camera? I hope so. And then the finishings. Oh my gosh, you guys. I-cord, what is this called? I-cord, not strap. I-cord bind off for the neckline here. I-cord along this edge here because it is stockinette, so it rolls in. So you really do need an I-cord here to make it not roll in. And then I-cord straps. Here is something that I did that you probably do not have to do if you decide to make this. You see 3 sets of ties here. Cute, perfect, yes. I knit 5. 5 sets of I-cord ties because you know what, I don't know why. I don't know why. I just created so much more effort for myself. So I have another strap set here. Can you see that? I have not cut away the straps yet because reasons. I don't want to undo like my hours of labor. It was like 30 minutes per strap, so an hour roughly for 1 tie pair. I have a hidden I-cord tie here, same thing for the other side. I just have it pinned down with stitch markers. And then I have one more here at the bottom, right where the peplum starts. The reason why I did so many ties is because I couldn't decide what would look better, and I figured it's better to have more ties than to have not enough, because I figured once I mentally and physically cast this off, I'm never going back to make modifications. This is truly my magnum opus of 2023, even though I didn't finish it last year. I'm counting it towards my piece is made in 2023 because I cannot. Dude, I cannot. I don't think I've talked about the yarn yet. The yarn is Sandnes Garn Sunday, held with one strand of their Tynn silk mohair, and the colorway for the Sunday is 4008, which I think is poppy, and the mohair is deep red. I will put the colorway numberings and all that below if you want to recreate this. The original pattern calls for holding this, holding 2 strands of the Tynn silk mohair. So it's supposed to be a 2-stranded mohair knit all the way through. I didn't do that because I wanted two strands of mohair held double is interesting for me because I have a sweater. My very first sweater was 2 strands of mohair, and it's one of those weird things where it's too warm to wear when the sun's out because it gets really hot, but it's too cold to wear when it's cold out because the air just blows right through because it's just 2 strands of mohair. So I wanted something with a little bit more oomph, a little bit more thickness. So I went with the fingering and the mohair held together. So the fabric that I have here is definitely thicker than what the original pattern calls for. So just be aware of that, I guess, if you decide to go down that route. The Sandnes Garn pattern calls for using, I think it's 3.5 millimeter needles throughout, but I use 3.75 just because the gauge I was getting with the thicker yarn was bigger, and the 3.75 gave me, well, it helped me hit gauge, and then it also just gave me a fabric that I liked. Okay, enough looking at it like this. I'll try it on for you guys now so you can see how it looks. Oh Lord, I have bobby pins on my hair. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Okay, here it is. I am wearing sweatpants, so I do apologize. I'll change later, maybe. But this is what it looks like on. It is really stinking cute, I gotta say. It's definitely one of a kind piece in my closet. I don't have anything like this. Probably will never make anything like this ever again. At least maybe I'll buy something like this in the future, who knows. One thing here is this side looks shorter than this side, and I don't know if it's like a blocking thing, but I don't feel like it is because like I just feel like there's something wrong with this side, and I cannot tell you where I went wrong because I started this piece back in July. It's been way too long. I have no idea what happened, but maybe I missed a short row. Maybe I don't know, because it's knit flat. It's not like I could have possibly made this side longer without making this side longer. So my thinking is it's something to do with the short rows somewhere, but I could not tell you. I just have to reblock this, I think, and then stretch the left side out way more in the hopes that it matches up with the right side. I don't think it's how my I-cord ties are knit either, maybe, but I don't think it should be that obvious because at most I should be off by like 1 row. Do you know what I mean? So don't know why that is the case, but she has her quirks, so it just kind of is what it is at this point. And then for the sleeves, the left sleeve is longer than the right sleeve. Again, don't know if that's a blocking thing. Don't know if that's because I did one more decrease on this side and not this side. I don't know. My sleeves rarely come out to be exactly the perfect length because I'm really bad at taking good notes when it comes to sleeves, so that's something I need to get better at. But again, not super noticeable to the average person staring at you on the street while you're wearing it out. Like, no one's gonna point it out. Except me, voluntarily, to you guys. Okay, and then I hid away the extra strap here and the extra straps here. You can see, right? Yeah. I literally pinned them down. So I hid them away because I think this proportion looks the best. Do you agree? Tell me. Originally I thought having a tie here at the peplum would be cute, but then I was like, wait, that defeats the whole purpose of having a peplum because you want it to open up and then you want it to like kind of like do its peplum thing. So why would you tie it up and like hide away the whole purpose of the garment? Do you know what I mean? So anyways, that's why I took that away. And then this middle one here, it just didn't look that good. I don't think I really need an additional tie right here, and it makes the front look really cluttered. So that's why I've hidden those two away. At some point I'll go and cut off the straps. It's not that big of a deal. Right now it just hurts a little bit too much, and I'm really nervous that I'll end up wanting those ties back in for whatever reason, and I really am not going to re-knit I-cord straps. It's just not gonna happen. Overall, I'm just so happy that this piece is done. I alluded to this earlier, but I'm never making this pattern again. unless like 3 years from now I've forgotten the hell that I went through to create this piece and I decide to make it again. I doubt it's gonna happen, but I'm really glad I did make this because now I can say that I have, and it's a really cute one-of-a-kind piece. So I probably will only wear this for special occasions. I finished this just in time for Lunar New Year this year, so this will be my New Year piece for sure. It's red as well, very chic, you know what I mean? If you know, you know. But it's definitely going to be a special occasion sort of wear for me. It's not an everyday thing at all, but I'm really happy that I did it. And that's all I have to say about this. Let's put it back on the hanger. Okay, I'm not going to put my jacket back on for now because we're going to go straight into the next finished object, which is a sweater. I'm just going to wear it right away because it's such a basic raglan and I don't really think I have that much to say about this, so I might as well wear it and be comfy while I'm talking about it. Here it is. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's literally a plain raglan sweater. I think I did very, very slight decreases in the sleeves. And I'll give you a little bit of the backstory for the sweater. So I think I cast this on in about mid-December when I was knee deep in the throes of gift knitting. Okay, I really struggled with gift knitting this year. It killed a lot of my inspiration. Like it destroyed a lot of my will to knit things, period. I got through it, we're fine. I really like the end products that I ended up making, and next year I will probably start gift knitting even earlier. So 2023 I started gift knitting in November. No girl, I gotta start in October so that I'm not just knitting gifts for a month and a half, because that really killed any creativity that I had left in me. So it was mid-December, it was like 2 weeks away from Christmas. I felt like I needed to wake up from the scarves and the socks and just the hats that I was making and do something for myself that was simple and brainless and I wouldn't need to think about it. So that's where this sweater came from. I had this yarn that I bought in Boston. It was the Plymouth, hold on, I'll just read it out to you. Plymouth yarn Sea Isle cotton. So this is a 50% Pima cotton, 50% wool yarn. It's a worsted weight yarn and it is a chainette spun yarn. So it makes it really springy. Stunning to work with. It is so soft, and also let me show you up close. Is this marled? Look at this color. But the yarn comes like that. Let me see if I have scraps I can show you. Okay, I do not have scraps I can show you. I thought I had a little bit left, but I guess I don't, or maybe I used it for something else. I can't remember. But the yarn just comes like that. So you can see from photos of their other colorways too, they have like a nice range of pastel-y colors. So I got this is the colorway Sand Dollar. They have a nice blue. Oh, the light blue is so good. I almost bought a sweater quantity of that as well when I was in the shop, but they were one skein short of what I would need. So I really do want to work with that blue in the future. Yeah, the color is really subtle. I really like it a lot. The yarn is so soft. In the store, I kept putting it against my face because I was like, this is so soft. I need to have this immediately. It's a big reason why I bought this yarn in the first place. I very, very, very loosely based this sweater off of a free pattern called the June 2 sweater. It's a pattern by Tuku Wool, and it's actually intended for a DK weight yarn. I think this yarn, like on Ravelry it says it's a worsted, but I think it's like a DK worsted, roughly in between there somewhere. Gauge swatch always. I did not gauge swatch. I just kind of prayed and hoped for the best. And I made size 2, and I did a lot of modifications. So in the June 2 sweater pattern, they just ask for, the words escape me. They do not ask for a double folded collar. That was my own doing. So they just had I think it was like 2x2 rib collar, but I really wanted a double folded thing because I just like how it looks, and I think I didn't really love the way that like the June 2 sweater neckline looked. It's more boat necky, which if that's what you're into, definitely follow the pattern for that. But I just went rogue there and I did double folded collar. I followed their raglan increase count. That's really what I needed the pattern for. So after that, I was on my own. The majority of the sweater was knit with 5mm needles, so the body is all 5mm sleeves, 5mm needles, and then for the ribbing I went down to a 4. And I really like that because it gives you that like nice, slightly cinched look for the sleeve ribbing. And then for the body ribbing, you can see that too. It just cinches in ever so slightly, which is nice. And I just did 1x1 ribbing for the sleeve cuff, the folded collar, and the body bind off. Nothing crazy there. In total, I used about 3 skeins of the Plymouth Sea Isle cotton to make this sweater. 1 skein is 300 meters and that's for 100 grams. So I had about 900 meters-ish to work with, and that turned out pretty perfect. It's cropped but not super cropped, which is a miracle for me because I am known to make very cropped pieces. Just my patience does not allow longer pieces, but I've used up every single piece of yarn I guess I had for this sweater, so really happy with it. It's like, so brain fart. So I had this vision of recreating a Brandy Melville sweater that I had in like 2018, 2019. I wore that sweater to pieces. Like, it was a, you know, Brandy Melville store-bought. I thrifted it secondhand, so it was already kind of not in great condition when I got it, but I love that sweater so much. It was pretty much this exact fit, this exact length. So that's what I had in mind when I was creating it. I wore that Brandy sweater to pieces, like until it had holes on the elbows, holes in the armpits, both sleeves. I went back in at one point, I sewed up the holes, I tried to patch it up, and then those ripped again. So it's long gone now. That was way before I started knitting and knew anything about fixing knits. So that sweater is gone. I had that sweater in mind when I was making this because the color is kind of similar and it's very soft, just like the Brandy sweater was. And yep, that was the vision that I had in my head. Based it on the June 2 pattern for the Raglan increases, and then here we are. I mean, nothing to call home about. It's a basic Raglan sweater. I do wear this a lot. But I did knit this in like 2 weeks, which is kind of crazy. It was on 5mm needles, so it was pretty big, but 2 weeks for a sweater for me is a little bit wild, and I ended up finishing this before I finished some of my gift knits. So I really needed a break from gift knitting, and this was that break. If we're speaking strictly about FOs, I also have a scarf, a pair of gloves, and a hat that I could show you guys, but those were all the gifts that I knit for Christmas, and I don't have them with me, so I'm not really going to talk about them. I like talking about things that I have with me so I can like play with it and show you. So I have 2 FOs to show you today. Just know that I had finished a lot more in these last 2 months, but okay, whatever, it doesn't really matter. We can move on into WIPs, and this next WIP you will have seen many times. And that is the Smilla sleeves pattern by Ventzel. And golly gee whiz, we have 2 sleeves. One of them is blocked, one of them is unblocked, so do not be too alarmed by the length differences. I tried. I'm actually sure that the sleeves are equal length for this piece, so do not worry, do not fear. This is a bolero shrug type situation, so it's supposed to be very cropped for one, and then very loose, and there's not supposed to be buttons. It's not meant to fully close up. It's supposed to just kind of like sit right here. So last time you saw this, I think I had just started one of the sleeves, and now you're seeing this, both sleeves are done, which is crazy progress because this is a nice honeycomb pattern, and you have to take that honeycomb texture all the way down the sleeve, so there's no getting away from that texture. One thing I will say that I learned with this piece is how to do cables without a cable needle. So when I first started, and for the back panel here, I used a cable needle for the, it's a 1x1 cross to make like the left lean and the right lean. I was using a cable needle for the majority of that, and then one day I was in the car, I was playing Passenger Princess, okay, I did not have a cable needle with me, and I remembered hearing from somewhere, I can't remember where at this point, but I remember hearing that you could do very simple cable crosses without a cable needle, so I just googled that real quick in the car, and then I learned how to do that, and now I do this whole thing without a cable needle. So that was really cool to learn. I actually haven't tried this on yet with both sleeves done, so this is actually my first try on. I literally finished one of the sleeves, the second sleeve, last night. I don't know. do I like it? This is one of those things where I really like the piece in the photo, but will I like it in person? I don't know. Obviously my right sleeve is still unblocked, that's why it's looking really short. Not that my left sleeve looks much longer, but at least it hits right at the wrist there. I have modified, again, I have modified this pattern. The Ventzel pattern calls for a wider sleeve cuff here, so it's just wider. You can see from the photos. It doesn't really, it's not like a balloon effect. I love me a balloon sleeve effect, so that's what I decided to go for here, and I think it does work. I can't really tell. I feel like this piece is one of those things that I'm not going to know if I truly like it until it's fully done, because I think I do need the body here to be done before I can really visualize how I would wear this. Oh, and then yarn used is Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino, just one strand, in the cream colorway. Do you guys want to hear something embarrassing that I realized 2 nights ago about this piece? So, the honeycomb stitch pattern on the back here, you can see it here again. It has a 5-row repeat, so it has the bottom, like leans, left leans, right leans, whatever, 3 rows of stockinette, top, lean, top, bottom, top. I hope that's okay for me to share. For some reason, when I did the sleeves, I just forgot that it was supposed to be 3 rows of stockinette in the middle, and I did 2 instead. So my sleeve honeycombs are really, or they're not really small. They're smaller than they should be according to the pattern. And I don't know why I didn't realize this until literally last night when I cast off my second sleeve and started working on the body again. I was like, wait, I do 3 rows of stockinette in here? What the heck? I don't know. I'm worried that it'll make my sleeve bulkier than it's supposed to be, because the fact that I have the little diamonds closer together instead of further apart, like, does that create more bunching? I don't know. Honestly though, the fact that I didn't notice that the honeycombs were different, like here's a sleeve and then I'm gonna hold up the body. Like, oh wait, maybe I'll hold up the blocked sleeve because it's a better representation. The left here is the back panel, which is the correct spacing of the honeycombs, and then the right here is my condensed, squished honeycombs. It looks really different on camera now, and maybe it's like the power of hindsight, but when I was doing the sleeve, I was like, yeah, that's the same. There's no difference here, nothing to see here. I don't know, that was really embarrassing, and it is what it is. No way I'm going back to redo the sleeves. Maybe it just means I use a little bit more yarn. Yes, it does mean that I had to do more cable or more pattern repeats for the texture. Maybe I could have saved myself some of that, but you know, it is what it is. So I do wonder though how that affects the look of the sleeves on this piece. Okay, and then here I have the last significant WIP carried over from last year. And I have a question for all of you guys. The question is, should I frog this and start over? This is my Peacock cardigan, or the start of my Peacock cardigan. So as you can see, I finished the lace yoke and everything. So the reason why I want to frog this is I started this piece last April. I think I was like 5 months into knitting at that point, and I continue to struggle, but really struggle at this time with tubular cast-ons. So can you see how crunchy this collar looks? It bugs me a little bit, and part of me wants to like just frog this and start over, because I'm far enough away from all the effort that I put into this now at this point that it won't hurt me to frog it. Here, we'll try it on and see how it looks. I don't know. Well, first, this needs a good block because it's lace. So once you block it, it'll open up a lot more. And second, yeah, I don't think blocking is gonna get rid of that cast on there. I also think there's supposed to be a button band that goes down here. I don't think it's a double knit button band. I think if I were to continue with this piece, I would probably make it a double knit button band just because that looks nicer and it'll lay flat, but that's yet to be put in. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I also did make a couple of mistakes in the lace when I was making this, but it's really not noticeable. Yeah, I'm super torn about this. So if you have any strong opinions on whether or not I should frog this, let me know. If I were to do this again, I would probably go up. I was gonna say I'd probably go up a size, but I don't think I would because it already feels fine to me and I have to block it and add the button band. So I don't think I take that back. I could probably do some sweater surgery and just like cut off the collar ribbing here. But if I'm gonna do all that effort, I might as well just frog this whole thing and fix the lace mistakes that I have. I don't know. And the last thing I want to talk to you about are some new cast-ons. Finally, some 2024 cast-ons. It's finally time. I've barely started most of these. I have two. I've barely started both of these because I really want to finish this guy first. This is my main focus. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that this is knit primarily on 4.5mm needles with the sleeve ribbing, the cuff knit at 4mm needles. So that being said, this next WIP here is also primarily a 4.5mm piece. This is the beginnings of my Nova sweater, which is a free colorwork sweater pattern by the Knit Purl girl. This is a, I think you can kind of tell, it looks almost black on camera, but this is a very dark foresty green. And my vision, you can see them there in the corner because I can't fit them on my shelf. I want to do a green as the main color and then a white as the contrast color. I picked up the yarn, here it is by the way, the white and the green. Picked this up at the Knitting Tree in Los Angeles. It's a yarn store. I went there for the first time in January and I didn't want to walk away empty-handed, so I left with this. This is a 75% acrylic, 25% wool yarn, and it's a, like, what, Aran weight? 20 stitches per 4 inches. So actually that's worsted, right? Worsted weight. Okay. This is the color combo. Yeah, nothing, I don't know, I don't really have anything to say about it. I don't feel any type of way about acrylic. I know some people say it's plasticky, but I haven't had that feeling yet. It feels actually very pleasant to work with so far. And I'm hoping that the colors will not bleed like against each other, because this is a white and this is a green. I had a lot of issues, not a lot, I had a big issue with color bleeding. So I originally wanted to start the Sasky sweater by the Petite Knitter, and I had my yarn chosen, and I will go grab that for you because I want to talk about this and I almost forgot. So this was the color combo I wanted to go with for the Sasky sweater. A nice deep red. By the way, I have a lot of red yarn. I just realized that recently and I was like, oh my god, I'm in my red era. And this is an off-white color. Both of these are Rosa Pomar Mondim, so it's the Rosa Pomar Retrosaria like sock yarn. Fingering weight, 100% wool, there's no superwash or nylon in here. And I have a lot of Mondim actually in my stash, but you see, I mean, I left it on because I wanted to show you guys. You see the pink here? That is from this red. And the crazy thing is, I did a swatch. It's a very cursed swatch, okay, I will admit. So before I show you, prepare to avert your eyes. This is my swatch. You can see the bunny motif though, so that is good. This was also my first time doing color work, stranded color work, ever. So cut me some slack here, okay? But I did a swatch and look at that, no bleeding. There we go. So you can see, yeah, no bleeding. It looks crisp. It looks fine. I was like, okay, cool, I'm chilling. And then I go into starting the actual sweater, which I don't have. I obviously unraveled it. And I wish I took a picture of it, but I didn't. But I have the proof right here. I'm starting a sock with this yarn. Kind of starting a sock. I started the toe and then I just like left it alone. That's just me with socks right now. But you can see the pink from this guy. And my swatch has been wet blocked. So right after I did the swatch, I chucked it in water, wet blocked it, no bleeding. Obviously for my sweater, I did not wet block it. I had cast on, I'd done the collar ribbing, I was starting the stranded color work, and I just kind of had it sitting out on my table for like a week and a half. And then when I revisited it, I was like, oh, some of these sections are looking pink. Sure as heck. So now I don't know. I really do love this red. At this point, I guess I just have to use this red on its own, maybe in a sock or like just an accessory, something like that. But yeah, it was such a shame. So anyways, I wanted the Saskia to be my first colorwork sweater, but I think it's actually better that I'm starting off with a Nova instead. It's thicker weight yarn, and I think that'll just be better for me to learn stranded colorwork instead of trying to do it on like with fingering weight yarn. It's all fiddly and the yarn is thin and all this stuff. But I'm really hoping that with acrylic, I'm not gonna get color bleeding. So my fingers are crossed. Okay, and then final thing I want to show you today, I promise. I know this one's probably pretty long, and this also doesn't look like anything, but this is the beginnings of my first Oslo hat. Yes, I'm joining the bandwagon. Again, red. I'm in my red era, don't know what to tell you. This red mohair is Sandnes Garn Tin Silk Mohair. It is the one remaining ball of the mohair that I have left over from this project here. So that was my main goal with this Oslo hat, is I wanted to use up this pretty much full skein of the Tin Silk Mohair. I think I used maybe 2 grams from this ball. It's pretty sad. I totally could have gone without buying this ball, but regardless. I'm holding it with Knitting for Olive Merino. It's their fingering weight merino, and it's in the colorway Pomegranite. I bought this spring of 23, so last spring, to make a hat, and I originally wanted to make a My Favorite Things hat. That was a pattern, I think it was hat number 2 is the one that I wanted to do, but just looking at gauge and considering that I have this mohair, I was like, okay, the Oslo hat fits the gauge perfectly, so we're going with it. I'm gonna have a red hat, red statement piece, and then possibly red socks. Alright, that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for sticking around if you're still here. Please, if you have an opinion about the Peacock cardigan, tell me what I should do with this, because I'm, again, just genuinely torn, and I would love to hear your opinions on this. I think just the way that I talked about this piece though today, I'm probably gonna frog it. So we will see. And then next time, I'll show you finished Smilla sleeves. That's my promise to you. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time.